we were discussing about post-fertilization events. So we know that there are major four post-fertilization events. The first one is endosperm development and the second one is embryo development. So let us discuss about embryo development in today's session. What is that? Embryo development. Right? After fertilization, the zygote has to develop into embryo. That comes under embryo development. The fertilized egg is called as zygote, correct? So we can tell after fertilization, the fertilized egg, it develops into, what is the fertilized egg called? The fertilized egg is called zygote, right? The fertilized egg is called zygote, or it is also called oospore. Fertilized egg is called zygote or it's also called oospore. This zygote or oospore should develop into embryo. The zygote should develop into embryo, right? The process of development of embryo from the zygote is called embryogenesis. So what do you mean by embryogenesis? Embryogenesis, it is also called embryony. So what is embryony or embryogenesis? It is the process of development of embryo from zygote. So it is the process of development of embryo. From where will the embryo develop? From the zygote. From the zygote, right? Now, zygote, after it is formed, it will immediately not undergo embryogenesis. It will take rest for a time. Sometimes it can take rest for days in some plant species. Sometimes it can take rest for months also, and it will allow the endosperm to develop. So why it is allowing the endosperm to develop first means because endosperm, it's a nutritive tissue. Now the developing embryo needs nutrition. So if the endosperm is made, then only it can take the nutrition. So that is why the zygote undergoes a period of rest. It goes to a period of rest and it is taking rest, but it will ask the endosperm to develop. It undergoes a period of rest and permits endosperm development. It will permit endosperm development. Now, when the endosperm will develop, then the zygote can take nourishment from the endosperm. Okay. Now, coming to embryos, how many types of embryos are there? Angiosperms are divided into two classes, right? Dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous. So that means there are two types of embryos, dicot embryo and monocot embryo. So angiosperm embryos are categorized into two types. What are they, children? The first one is called dicot embryo and the next one will be called as monocot embryo. So dicot embryogenesis we are going to see and monocot embryogenesis also we are going to see. Now initial stages of the dicot embryo and monocot embryo, they are the same. You cannot make out because there are no fundamental differences in embryogenesis between the dicot embryo and the monocot embryo. So let's write down that there is no fundamental difference. There is no fundamental difference in the initial stages. In the initial stages of embryo development, whether it is dicot embryo or monocot embryo, the initial 2-3 steps are the same for both. That's what I mean to say. There is no fundamental difference in the initial stages of embryo development. For both dicot and monocot, the initial stages are the same. Later on, dicot embryo follows a different path and monocot embryo follows a different path. Now, where is the embryo development starts? Means if we see an ovule, right, these are the integuments of the ovule, right. So, this is a micropylar end and here is a callosal end. What is this end called? Micropylar end. If we recollect, at the micropylar end only egg was there. Means the male gamete comes and meets the egg at the micropylar end and both of them fuse, resulting in formation of zygote. That means, where is zygote, children? The zygote is at the micropylar end. That means embryogeny starts at the micropylar end where zygote is there, right? So, take a screenshot, we will discuss. Right? Understood? Now, we will talk about dicot embryo development first and then we will go to monocot embryo development. Now, when we are talking about dicot and monocot, we need to take a plant as a reference to study. For example, when we are studying Liliaceae, we will take onion as a reference plant to study. In the same manner, when we are talking Fabaceae, we will take Pisum sativum as a reference plant to study. In the same manner, for dicot embryo development, what is the plant are we taking as a reference to study? Means we take a plant called as shepherd's purse. It is also called, what is it called? It is called, sorry, its scientific name is Capsella bursa pastoris. What is its scientific name? Capsella bursa pastoris, commonly called as shepherd's purse. This is taken as a reference plant. This is taken as a reference plant to study dicot embryo development and this plant belongs to a family called Brassicaceae. This plant belongs to which family, children? It belongs to a family called Brassicaceae, which is also called Cruciferaceae, right? Brassicaceae family is also called Cruciferaceae. So, if we tell like which type of embryo development means, it is crucifer type of embryo development we tell. So, the type of embryo development is, there are many types of embryo developments, okay. So, here this type of embryo development, which is the most common type, is called crucifer type. It is crucifer type, or we can call it as Oenegrad type. It is called crucifer type of embryo development or Oenegrad type of embryo development, and we are taking the plant Capsella bursa pastoris as a reference plant to study, and the development of dicot embryo is endoscopic, we tell. I will tell you what is endoscopic. First, let us write down the development of dicot embryo is endoscopic. Now, when we draw the pictures, you will get complete clarity. Endoscopic means the pumule will be inside or the pumule will be downside. The pumule is downwards and the pumule is inwards. Since it is down, since it is inward, we call it as endoscopic development. Understood? So, this is introduction to dicot embryo development. When we have to talk about the dicot embryo development, we need to talk about a reference plant. The reference plant is called as shepherd's purse. Its scientific name is Capsella bursa pastoris, belonging to a family Brassicaceae or Cruciferaceae. the type of embryo development which is the common type, it is called as crucifer or onagrad type of embryo development. And the development of dicot is endoscopic, means when we see the embryo, this is one cotyledon and this will be the other cotyledon, right? So here radicle will be there and pumule is down. Actually pumule will make the shoot, shoot should be up, right? But the shoot making part, pumule is down. So that's why we call it is endoscopic. The pumule is downwards. The pumule is inside the cotyledons. Okay, so we'll see the pictures one by one, then you'll understand clearly. So take a screenshot, then we'll use the full board to discuss about the dicot embryo development. Yes, can I erase this? Now, we told that the zygote is at the micropylar end. To have a better understanding, let's draw the ovule. Anatropous ovule. And this is the micropyle. At the micropyle end is the zygote, right? So now let us pull this zygote out. So yeah, this is zygote. Since we can't draw both these things, this is the micropylar end and callosal end. We will be representing M as micropylar, C as callosal end. So this is a diploid zygote. The zygote undergoes mitotic divisions only. The cleavage is mitotic cleavage only. So the zygote first undergoes a mitotic division. It makes a mitotic division, and children, it is a transverse division. It is a transverse division, then we will get two cells. It is an unequal division. One cell will be bigger. The micropylar end cell is bigger. The callosal end is smaller. So this side the cell is bigger. This side the cell is little smaller. These are the vacuoles and the rich cytoplasm. And this cell is called as basal cell. This cell is called as basal cell, and the bottom cell is called as terminal cell. Since the basal cell is going to make a suspensor, so basal cell can also be called as suspensor cell. Since the terminal cell is making the embryo, we can also call terminal cell as embryo cell or apical cell. Now this is two-celled embryo. Now this again undergoes a division. This will again undergo a division. Now the suspensor cell will divide first fast. It undergoes transverse division and it makes 6 to 10 suspensors. The basal cell, now it undergoes transverse divisions and it makes 6 to 10 suspensor cells. I will show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am going with 8. Right, 6 to 10, these are suspensor cells, in which the last suspensor cell, which is towards the micropylar end, enlarges and it acts as a haustoria. It swells up and it acts as a haustoria, and these are the remaining suspensor cells. So these are the remaining suspensor cells. Meanwhile, the terminal cell or the embryo cell will undergo one longitudinal and one transverse division, and it makes a quadrate embryo. Transverse and longitudinal division. So it makes a quadrate embryo, which is also called tetrad. Embryo. Now next what happens is, this embryo only will divide further. It starts dividing further and 4 will become 8. Then let's draw the 8 here. Okay, so these are the 8 embryonic cells. Now these are the suspensor cells, right? Let's draw the suspensor cells here with the haustorial cell, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the haustorial cells, and here if you count, it is 8 cells. So this one and this one, this is octant embryo. Quadrant embryo and octant embryo, they are called as proembryos. This is the proembryonic stage. Now next what happens from proembryo is, these are suspensor cells. The suspensor cell which is near to the embryo will enlarge now. It will enlarge now and it will become a hypophyseal cell. This cell will enlarge. Right? This cell will enlarge now, and meanwhile these 8 cells will undergo periclinial divisions and they will become 16 cells. Right? So now this cell which is bigger now is called as hypophysis. The suspensor cell which is near to this embryo has developed into a hypophysis cell, and this one is growing into a globular embryo. Now this can be called as globular embryo. Right? In the next stage, what happens means the hypophysis grows and the suspensors decrease in size. So let's make the suspensors small. Let's make the suspensors small. Hypophysis also becomes little small, but now increase the hypophyseal cells. They will divide and they'll make 8 cells. Okay, 1, 2, 3. They'll make 8 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are drawing the 8 hypophyseal cells like that. To understand it, we are drawing, but it's not this arrangement. It will be like a mass. Okay, so we can't see them one beside the other in this manner. And these globular embryos, they're keeping on dividing and they make a peripheral zone, another zone, and inside also it starts dividing and making the cells. Now this is also globular embryo. Now the fate of these cells is fixed. The fate of these cells is fixed. I told the haustoria and the suspensor cells, they start degenerating. That's what we showed. We started decreasing their size. Whereas the hypophyseal cell, one hypophyseal cell which was developed from a suspensor cell, it grew and it became 8 cells, in which this cell will make the root tip, these 2 cells, and these cells will make the root cap, and these cells will make the root tip, and these 4 cells will make the root cortex. It will make the root cortex, and anatomically if you see, this outer layer will make dermatogen. The next layer, this layer of cells will make the ground tissue, and this inner layer will make the dermatogen, ground tissue, and the inner layer will make the procambial cells. Means they make the vascular tissue. Anatomically, this is making epidermis, this will make the ground tissue system, and this will make the procambial cells. Now, if you see structurally, then we tell that till here, till this much part, structurally if we see, then they are going to make Yeah. And this much part will make cotyledons and plumule. This much part will make cotyledons and plumule, and the upper part will make hypocotyl. This part will make hypocotyl. From hypocotyl only the root will develop, and from this part the plumule and cotyledons will be made. And what is this stage called? This stage is called as a globular embryo. It is called as a globular embryo. What is the role of these suspensor cells and haustorial cells? Means the haustorial cell and suspensor cells push the embryo deep into the endosperm so that they can derive nutrition. If we want to see that, so I'll draw embryo once again, ovule once again here, right? This is the ovule what we are looking at. Now here, this is the suspensor cell, haustorial cell, and these are suspensor cells, and here is our embryo, and surrounded by, this is embryo, and surrounded by all these are endosperm nutritive cells. All these are nutritive cells. Now when we apply pressure from the haustoria, see here, when you apply pressure from here, now the embryo will be pushed in. When you apply pressure from here, the embryo will go inside. When the embryo goes inside, it embeds itself inside the nutritive tissue. So it can derive nutrition very easily. That is the role of this suspensor cells and haustoria. So I am erasing this. So we need this space. This I just told you, like what is the role of suspensor. Now what happens? Since it is pushing, it is creating pressure, it is pushing it inside, the globe-shaped embryo now turns into a heart-shaped embryo. The globe-shaped embryo now turns into a heart-shaped embryo. The suspensor cells are decreasing in size. Haustorial cells, and this is a characteristic feature of dicot embryo. Heart-shaped embryo, we can't find it in monocot. If you find heart-shaped embryo, means it is a characteristic of dicot only. It's a dicot embryo which is developing. Now, because of this pressure, the pressure applies here and it divides into two, which appears for us like a heart-shaped. Now, what these two will become, you know, they're going to become the cotyledons, because dicot has two cotyledons. It will develop into two cotyledons now. Yes. Now, what we have seen, let us list the parts here also. Yeah. So, all these are the cells in which we are telling, like this part. No, these are haustoria. Yeah, let us write down suspensor cells. These are suspensor cells. Whereas this part we told this is root cap. Now below the root cap, this region is the root tip. Below the root tip is the root cortex, means this portion will make the root cortex. And below that root cortex, it's going to make hypocotyl. So this portion will make hypocotyl. Hypocotyl is the one which makes the root system. It is here. Then next, what is this called? This is called plumule. And these two are cotyledons. These two are cotyledons, and this complete stage is called as chordate stage, heart stage embryo. This is heart stage embryo. It's also called chordate embryo, which is a characteristic feature of dicot. Heart-shaped embryo is a characteristic feature of dicots. Now later what happens means, since there are so many cells here and they are growing, so they take a curvature. So can I erase this and draw the matured embryo? So yeah, can I do that? Now from here, which stage will go means matured embryo. In the matured embryo, the plumule will be here and the cotyledons will take a curvature this way. the cotyledons are taking curvature, and here the degenerating suspensor cells will be there. These are the degenerating suspensor cells, and these two are cotyledons, and this will be the plumule, and then here is hypocotyle. Let us draw the cells fast. Yeah, so like this we need to fill the complete structure. All these pictures are there in NCERT, children, so you can nicely take it out from NCERT also. So I am just giving the explanation which will make you to understand the pictures in a even more clarity way. So we need to fill all these things. I am doing it fast. And we'll label it. Yes. Now when we see, so what is this? Root cap. This will make a root tip. This will make hypocotyle, same parts. It will make hypocotyle and radicle. So these are the upper portions which are making the root, and this is the plumule, and these two are cotyledons. Now what is this stage called? This is a matured embryo. I am writing it here. It is a matured embryo. Take a screenshot. We'll discuss once. Yeah. So we finished dicot embryo. Let us see it once again. So we started with zygote, and where is the zygote? The zygote is at the micropylar end. So I just wrote micropylar end and the callosal end of the zygote. Now it is undergoing all our mitotic divisions only. It will undergo one transverse division to make a slightly bigger cell called basal cell, slightly smaller cell called terminal cell. The fate of the basal cell is to make 6 to 10 suspensor cells, out of which the last suspensor cell is big. It's called haustoria. And the fate of terminal cell is to make embryo. Now, that will divide to make 4-celled embryo, divide to make 8-celled embryo, divide to make a globular embryo. These two are called proembryo, and this is called globular embryo. Now, the suspensor cell which is near to the embryo will grow and develops into hypophysis. And this globular embryo, the outer layer will make the dermatogen, the middle layer will make the ground tissue, the inner layer will make the procambium. Means this will make epidermis, this will make the ground tissue, this will make the vascular tissue, anatomical wise. If we want to see the structures, then the outer region, this upper portion will make hypocotyle, the lower portion will make the cotyledons and the plumule. So we drawed one structure here. Because of this haustorial pressure, so it will shrink from the bottom, the cells will grow like this, and it will become a chordate embryo, heart-shaped embryo, which is a characteristic feature of dicots. So the plumule is bottom. If you remember, I told dicot embryo development is endoscopic. The plumule is downwardly located. It is inwardly located. It is between the two cotyledons. And these are the suspensor cells which are degenerating. Root cap, root tip, root cortex, hypocotyle, then cotyledons and plumule. So since there are so many cells here, they are growing, they take a curvature, and the curvature will become like this, and here is the plumule. Understood? So can I erase this? Now we will see the development of dicot seed also. From this only the seed will develop, right? So you already took the screenshot. Many times they will ask us the stages of the dicot embryo. What are the stages now? Can you tell me? So from zygote it goes to 2 cells. From there it goes to 4 cells, tetrad. Then to octant, proembryo. Then to globular embryo. Then to heart-shaped embryo. Then to matured embryo. So the stages are So the stages are, if we have to write down, from zygote, they'll ask you to arrange them in order sequence. So from zygote to two-celled embryo, from two-celled embryo to tetrad, then to octant. Tetrad and octant, both of them are called as proembryo. From proembryo, you have seen globular embryo. From globular embryo, we saw heart-shaped embryo. We saw heart-shaped embryo. From heart-shaped embryo, we went to a matured embryo. Even in NCERT also, these stages are there. The sequence is there. So this is the development of dicot embryo. When we see the structure of a dicot seed, now in dicot seed, structure of dicot seed. Do you know dicot seed has how many cotyledons? It has 2 cotyledons. That's what we saw. 2 curvature, 2 cotyledons are there. In between the cotyledons is the embryonic axis. Now, the embryonic axis, which is with the cotyledons, this part is called as tigellum. The portion of the embryonic axis which is with the cotyledons is called as tigellum. The portion of the embryonic axis which is below the cotyledons is called hypo to cotyledons is called as hypocotyle. Now this hypocotyle grows into radicle. It grows into radicle. The radicle will make the root system. Now this is root system. So the portion of the embryonic axis which is below the cotyledon is called hypocotyle. Hypocotyle develops into radicle. Radicle will make the root system. Now the portion of the embryonic axis which is above the cotyledons, this much is above the cotyledons, is called as epicotyle. Epicotyle will develop into plumule. Epicotyle will develop into plumule, and the plumule will make the shoot system. The plumule will make the shoot system. Right? So this is the structure of the dicot seed. Okay, in that we have seen 2 cotyledons. What are these 2 structures called? These 2 are cotyledons. These 2 are cotyledons, and the embryonic axis with the cotyledons is called as tigellum. The part below the cotyledons is hypocotyle. Below that will make a radicle. Radicle will make the root system. The part of the embryonic axis above the cotyledon is called epicotyle, which will make plumule, which will make shoot system. Understood, children? And a dicot seed has 2 cotyledons. It has 2 cotyledons, and dicot seeds are generally non-endospermic. Dicot seeds are non-endospermic. The endosperm will be completely consumed by the developing embryo. They get nourishment from these cotyledonary. These are thick and flesh cotyledons. Thick and flesh cotyledons. So the embryo gets, since endosperm is consumed, the embryo gets nourishment from the thick cotyledons. And when once the first leaves come up and when they start doing photosynthesis, then these cotyledons will fall off. So, and this is a seed. The seed has an outer seed coat. The outer seed coat is called as testa. It has an inner seed coat which is called stegma. So, what we have discussed is, we discussed about the dicot embryo development and we discussed about the dicot seed structure also. Hope you understood the lectures. So any query, kindly post it in the comment box. And if you like the content, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.